Okay. Take two. Hello. I'm Amber. I run Mario Kart 8, and this is my submission for Frost Fatales 2022. This is going to be a 48 tracks run with an incentive to be ran either in the normal track order, from Mario Kart Stadium in Mushroom Cup all the way to Big Blue in Bell Cup, or in random order, where I will have no idea what comes next. It doesn't actually make any of the tracks harder or anything like that. It doesn't make the run any more difficult. It doesn't change the estimate. It just gives me, I guess, a little bit less time to prepare and can make the commentary a little bit more interesting, because I'm going to have to say things that are more relevant to whatever track I'm playing on, and I won't necessarily be able to go in the normal line of things to talk about that I normally do when I do a run. So it's kind of fun. Yeah. So anyways, the run starts I should actually, first off, we run 200cc no items. 200cc is the fastest speed, and no items means nothing slows us down. Hard computers, because of two reasons. It is fastest because they you run into them the least amount, because you lap them later in the track, so you don't lap all of them. But also that's what a 200cc Grand Prix uses, is hard computers, and we run in versus race. So anyways, the run starts in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so as I said, I have no idea what the first track is going to be, but I've already kind of said a little bit about what about the run category. 200cc no items. We're playing all of the tracks in the run. This is Donkey Kong Jungle of Banana Cup in retro tracks. This is a track with a super bounce that I really enjoy. Here it is. So I get a mini turbo and then I trick off of that boost pad. So we're starting off with a pretty high octane track. There's also a little skip there, which I didn't do perfectly, but it's still a bit faster than taking it normally. I'm gonna charge a drift here so that it pushes me up that hill a little faster. And there we go. That is what Donkey Kong Jungle looks like. So, in the first track of a versus race, you start in last place with 5 coins, and because of that, I already have 10 coins, and 10 coins boosts your speed. Sorry, having coins boosts your top speed. Each coin represents about a quarter of a box along the bar that says top speed if you open up your stats on the Kart build and selection page. And obviously that can go past what is visible because of coins, but you can't build past that, of course. Anyways, it's very, very important to get up to 10 coins as quickly as possible. It can save multiple seconds each track, and that adds up really quickly. So we've gotten really good super bounces, got a nice little skip there, which I didn't succeed in actually finishing, but that's alright. Get that drift, and then that ends the first track of 48. Donkey Kong Jungle, it's a pretty good one. That super bounce technique is going to come up in, I think, 2 more tracks, maybe 3, I don't actually remember off the top of my head. Music Park, Cloudtop Cruise, I think that's it. But I could be wrong. I'm notoriously bad at remembering that sort of stuff. Anyways, here's a really, really difficult track. Not fun to have second. This is Bone Dry Dunes. This track features a really cool technique that I call Panda Strat. It wasn't actually invented by Panda, who is a time trialer from Australia, but he is the person he's the first person who did it in a time trial that I saw a video of, and I was like, oh, I should start doing this, and so I started calling it Panda Strat, and then more people started doing it in runs after that, so it's Panda Strat now. And what Panda Strat is it's something in laps 2 and 3 here. I'm going to charge a super mini turbo, and then I'm going to start charging another one and get a super off of that hill, and then just bounce off of that hill. And that corner cut saves a ton of time. It's very, very good. This track is really, really tough, kind of hard to talk about the specifics of. You're mostly kind of just battling the level geometry because it's very hilly, and also because it's sand, you don't have amazing traction. I'm actually doing a lot of brake drifting, which is a technique that I'll probably be able to talk about more at length later. but the general idea for brake drifting is I'm holding accelerate and I'm holding drift, but then I'm also tapping brake a bunch, like sometimes holding it for almost like a half a second, 3/4 of a second, I don't know, just like repeatedly pressing it. I wouldn't say tapping, I guess I would say pressing. And that kind of helps me turn a little bit tighter while still maintaining, like, I'm still charging a drift. And that's a really, really important technique on 200cc. It says it, if you're doing 200cc Grand Prix, it literally says in the little descriptive text, braking is crucial, and it still is in speedrunning too. Anyways, that was 2 tracks. Now we're on to Thwomp Ruins, another kind of tough track, but not too bad. This is actually a great track for donations if it was a little bit later, but I want to talk about some more general stuff first. There's not a ton to talk about this track in specific. There's some underwater stuff, but it's only very rarely, or it's only for a very short amount of time. And there is one global cycle that is important for the last lap, and I'm going to try to like go so fast that I don't make the cycle, because it's something that only opens fairly late in like how long you're running the track. A global cycle is something that happens from the very beginning of the run, or of the start of the track till, yeah, it's like a moving part on the track. And in this case, the moving part is like these big stone circles that roll down and eventually knock over that little wall to reveal a ramp. And I'm gonna try to go so fast that I can't use the ramp, which would be faster. So yeah, global cycles are kind of cool. There's a couple tracks that have global cycles. But yeah, kart building, like the kart build is a really important thing. And I already kind of alluded to top speed being an important stat. It was the most important stat in Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, but mini turbo is actually the most important stat for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and that's actually not a visible stat on the screen, which kind of stinks. But it's closely tied to your acceleration. So I'm playing with Biddy Buggy, the best kart, which has the highest acceleration and the highest mini turbo. I'm using roller tires, the best tires, with the highest acceleration and the highest mini turbo, and I'm using Cloud Glider, although you could also use Paper Glider, you could also use the Parachute or the Flower Glider, and those all have additional mini turbo as well. And then I'm still getting more top speed because I'm playing with a heavyweight character. Still definitely do need to have some top speed there and find a good balance. But I'm not playing the absolute heaviest character and fastest, like most top speed. I'm actually still, I'm not playing the most heavy character. I'm playing with like the 3rd most heavy character, Roy, which Roy has a little bit of mini turbo, whereas Bowser and Wario and Dry Bowser and I think the Miis don't add any mini turbo, but they have a little bit more top speed. But we still want more mini turbo, so yeah. And also Roy is fantastic. I may do a donation incentive for a character choice between Roy, Waluigi, and Donkey Kong, but I legitimately play worse with Waluigi and Donkey Kong because I only stream playing Roy, so I think I might just leave it as the regular order versus random order incentive, and because that's kind of a fun incentive that hasn't been done before. Anyways, this is a difficult track that I've kind of just been rambling over. Cloudtop Cruise is very tough and has another global cycle that's like really important. These lightning bolts are exactly the same every time from the beginning of the track, so I know where they are every time, and I know how to get around them. I didn't get a full 10 coins here, but that's okay. This track is really tough to get 8 coins on, or to get 10 coins on. I didn't get the full 10 coins. Anyways, sorry, kind of rambled, kind of lost my breath, ran out of breath because I talked too much. That's been 4 tracks. We are 1/12 of the way there. Here's Dry Dry Desert. I call this track Heck 2 because it's because the track that comes right before it is Toad's Turnpike, and I call that one Heck. This track has a very, very difficult shortcut. It is one of the most difficult shortcuts in the game, and it is so fast that messing it up completely and just driving over the hill off-road is faster than taking the hill, the road, right? So I get a boost here, and that kind of flings me over. If I didn't get a boost and I just drove up that hill and down that hill, that would still be faster than taking the turn. So yeah, it's really, really important to get that skip. I'm going to try to be using the super mini turbo that I get underwater to boost me over the hill and then get some like air time as I'm going down the hill, and that's going to make it even faster, and it's very, very clear when I get it, so. But I will still say I got it if I get it. I'm not getting it there, I'm running into a tree. Okay, well, so far so good. Alright, now, this quicksand, oh, this is a retro track from the GameCube from Double Dash, and this oasis was not in the original Double Dash version, but it's very helpful for us to get in between these trees and then up. Okay, I didn't quite get the airtime I was looking for, but that's alright. That is Dry Dry Desert. Not the best I've ever done it, by far, but it was still a very, very good example of the track. I have no idea what's coming next. It's Mumu Meadows. This is the first track in Retro Tracks. This is a track from Mario Kart Wii. It has a banger soundtrack with a viola solo. I believe it's a viola. Might be a fiddle. Might just be a fiddle, which is different from a violin if I remember correctly. But I want to say it's a viola, and I only want to say it's a viola because my sister plays viola and I need to shout out the viola as often as possible or she'll have my head. That's a joke, I promise. Anyways, Mumu Meadows is a super, super simple track. It's a great track to read some donations, but it's also a good track to talk about some drifting techniques that I'm doing. So the big one on this track is neutral stick drifting, which is the newest, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. It's the newest big piece of tech that we've been introducing into the runs, is neutral stick drifting. That's kind of the newest development since the 48 tracks relay from GDQ. We had kind of started to be hopping on the neutral stick drifting train at that point, but it's a little bit more important now, and this is one of the tracks where it really helps out. The idea is, if you're not holding anything on the control stick, you actually go a little bit faster. Like, even if you're like angling, if you're not moving the control stick at all, like even with like soft drifting and all of that, like if you're just not touching the control stick and you're just drifting, you'll go faster. Same with just going a straight line. So the track's already over, but the idea is you go faster. You don't build a charge on your drift as fast, but that's okay because of the track, like the way the track is laid out. There are some turns where you want to be doing these neutral drifts instead, and it's faster than getting the next tier of drift. That's basically the new hot tech. This track is really, really tough. It's rainy, so it has worse traction. It has really, really ridiculously tight hairpin turns, and it's the first track of the last cup of the game in Bell Cup. In Bell Cup, yeah, okay. Words are hard. I kind of made it sound like it was one word, in Bell, which is not a word. Anyways, this track has a couple of nice little counter hops that I do before starting drifts, and that just kind of helps with the angle of the drift and charging it up as much as possible before having to release it. A couple little cool moments like that. And this track also has a thing called a low glider, where as soon as you leave the glider pad, if you press R to like do a trick, but if you press it too late, if you press the trick button too late after you've gone off the glider pad, the glider will actually just open up a little bit faster and it'll kind of push you down just the tiniest amount. And that ends up being a lot faster a lot of the time. Doing a trick ends up resetting your speed before giving you a boost, and sometimes you're going a lot faster than that, so doing a low glider is better. I need to take a couple breaths and maybe just drink some water for a sec. Mario Kart Circuit is a pretty difficult track. It has like 8 shortcuts. It would have 9, but the first shortcut is not possible in the first lap because of where you start on the track, at the very start of, at like the very front of the race. Here's a counter hop, which helps us charge a super mini turbo so we can hop over these tires. It's a very, very cool skip. Okay, yeah, I'm doing it pretty well. Okay, I just needed to breathe for a sec because I was kind of talking a bit too much and needed to calm down for a moment. But yeah, this is one of those tracks where we're kind of lapping people at some point, and it's not great, but whatever. That was pretty good skips. Not a bad Mario Circuit by any means. And if I'm right, I believe that is... Was that the 8th track or was that the 9th track? No, whatever. Next one up is Dragon Driftway. This is from Egg Cup. Okay, so that was 8 tracks. This is the 9th one. This is from Egg Cup. This is one of my favorite tracks. It has a really, really cool skip that has a mid-air drift release, and at GDQ, I kind of botched it, and I kind of need to redeem myself. So... Yep, there we go. Perfect. I did it. Alright, so what that was that was a mid-air drift release of a mini turbo. I charged the mini turbo in mid-air, felt my controller rumble to confirm that I got a mini turbo, and then released it and pushed myself in the direction of where I'm supposed to go and continued the track. It is a very, very difficult trick to get, and it's especially difficult in lap 1 for 2 different reasons. One, you have to go way wider because you have to go way tighter because you have to get those 2 coins on the inside. But also, you don't have as many coins, so you're not going as fast. So you have to really get it on the right line. So it's a very, very tough stuff. This is one of my favorite tracks. I feel like I'm fairly good at it. Those mid-air drift releases are pretty fun. That bonk was not what I was looking for though, but whatever. Yeah, a couple other techniques to just talk about in general. I don't know, let's see what the next track is first so that I know, so that I can talk about something maybe a little bit more contextual. Okay, so here's Ice Ice Outpost. This one has a very fun skip in the middle of it. A good thing to talk about on this track is soft drifting. So soft drifting is a very, very well-known technique, I feel like, at this point. There's a very specific, not very specific actually, it's pretty wide. There's an angle that you can hold on the control stick where you will charge your mini turbo at the fastest possible speed, but it won't move you, it won't turn you at the sharpest possible turn. The angle is about like 2 o'clock on like a typical clock, analog clock, like 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock on a typical analog clock, and it's very, very helpful. And it's very useful here to get like a super mini turbo there, and to charge a couple of these mini turbos along the way. Like that super mini turbo, I'm getting those drifts very quickly, but I'm not actually turning all that much. Same with that one as well. And one technique that I use a lot that's not amazing, because moving the control stick in general is not a great technique, but I'll do this sort of soft drift pumping, where if I feel like I don't quite have the right angle, I will I'll start soft drifting, and then I'll kind of pull back a little bit, and then I'll keep soft drifting again, and then kind of pull back a little bit until I kind of feel like I actually have the right angle. And that's a pretty important technique to use as well, although it does slow you down a bit. You have to use it. Electrodrome is a really boring track and a great track for donations. It has a great soundtrack. Without items, there's not much to do though. Because it's a great track for donations. What's up, chat? How are y'all doing? What's up, Gold? What's up, Sins? What's up, Jose? What's up, Sadachi? I hope you're all having a good one. This track is a track. Excuse me. I'm getting a little rambly sometimes, but that's alright. I'm trying my best. Okay. A couple other good techniques to talk about. I still need to talk about slide drifting. I could talk about just drifting in general a fair bit more, like brake drifting and all of that. Talk about global cycles a little bit more. Could talk about how Roy is the best character in video games. Could talk about how Biddy is our savior. Alright, here we go. Wario's Gold Mine. This is another, like, kind of lackluster track a lot of the time. The coins are in very easy spots, so that's good. You can make good use of some soft drifts here. This is a track where the shortcuts are not faster, so that's something. These bats show up at the same time every time, but the way that they go down the track and run into you is different every time, so you have to use your reaction there. These mine carts are on a global cycle, so they're always in the same place at the same time, and they're a good reference for how fast I'm going on the track. Not too bad. I like this pace. So yeah, going along that path over there is just making the route longer for yourself. And likewise, cutting that little corner is only faster in lap 3, because in laps 1 and 2, the boost that you would get afterwards would push you in the wrong direction. So since in lap 3 we're just trying to cross the finish line as quickly as possible, that's where that shortcut actually starts being useful. There's a couple of neutral drifts right before that little ramp as well. Alright, that wasn't the fastest lap 3 I've ever had, but it was pretty good. And here I get to do the shortcut. Alright, now we have Toad's Turnpike. This is a track that I call Heck. The hitboxes on these cars are real frustrating. But it's pretty fun to do if you don't get hit, so that's nice. So, in the words of many a Smash player, let's just not get hit. Okay. So this track has a couple of different patterns for where the cars are. This is another one of those tracks that has a global cycle. 2 of the patterns have that glider where I just took. That glider is really helpful, and getting one of those 2 patterns is called the good pattern. The differences between them are that, like, one of the lanes the cars are driving in an opposite direction, and then the other 2 patterns are just a different layout of cars. It's just a different layout of cars, and then one version of it where one of the lanes is moving in a different direction. It's the inside lane, the one that I'm driving in right now. Personally, I prefer when the cars are driving with me, and I'm not driving into them. I feel like I do a bit better in those cases. But it doesn't actually. The thing about it is the other version that I didn't get has so many cars in a couple of key spots where, like, if you're going as fast as possible, you would have to cross over from like one side of the track to the other side of the track, and it's like very annoying. Alright, here's Bowser's Castle. This track is very, very difficult. Has a global cycle in all of the moving parts. Yeet. I'm gonna do that at least twice. And I will say yeet all 3 times, and I will say it without warning because I'll be talking about other things. That's just a fun little skip, you know? There's not really much to say about it, it really is just a fun little skip. This track is extremely difficult, and it's a part of Special Cup, which I consider to be the hardest cup in the game. That ball and chain is extremely frustrating, but it's been pretty nice to us so far. I'm gonna have to go on the right side here because I just don't think that the hills were going to give us a good pattern on the left side because of where the ball and chain was, because those two, their cycles are basically identical. And now we get to lap 3, and hopefully I'm going fast enough that I can take the other lane again, which would be good. I want to say yeet again really badly. Other things to talk about. Ooh, okay, well, actually, shit. I'm so sorry. Anyways, okay, this will be a bit scary. Yeet. Aw, that was... Why did I go for it? I knew it was bad. I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm still in first because all of these people that just passed me were actually the people in 10th, 11th, and 12th. And that's Bowser's Castle. Thank you for the submission, Luck Owl. I appreciate it. The need to eat. I did have the need to eat. Here is the gatekeeper of Mario Kart. Yoshi Circuit is the first track of bonus tracks. It's the first track of Egg Cup. It is ridiculously precise. But I'm pretty good at it, so let's see how it goes. Fun fact about these piranhas, they don't really have hitboxes, and I didn't really run into any of them, but you can basically run through their head if you get a not-so-great line of doing the trick that I just did. These sorts of tricks are all mostly like momentum-based. I'm lining up drifts, I'm chaining these drifts together so that I can make like a hop that pushes me across a bunch of off-road, or sometimes 2 hops, you know? Or sometimes a trick. That's basically the idea for all of them. This one I'm just kind of drifting over a hill, and that's the whole point of the skip. Is, I mean, there are 2 drifts beforehand that sort of chain into it and line it up, and that's kind of the technique used for all of these sorts of skips. It's just chaining drifts together. This is a track where slide drifting is pretty helpful. Slide drifting is something kind of related to neutral stick drifting in that it relies on the neutral stick for a moment. You have to not be inputting left or right on the analog stick and just driving in a hopefully straight line. And then press the drift button so that you hop in the air. And then when you land, or like as you're going down, then you move your control stick. Then you move the analog stick. And that kind of slides your cart, and that changes the trajectory of your drift, and it charges it a little bit, and it's very helpful. So slide drifting is very useful all the time. We just went from the first track in bonus tracks to the last track of bonus tracks. This is Big Blue, an F-Zero track in Bell Cup. Excuse me. I like this track quite a bit. I end up falling back into second place for a little bit so that I can pick up extra coins at the start, because personally, I like having 10 coins for this section, although I believe the optimal strat you only have like 5. I don't know. I just like getting them early. Anyway, so start the drift really early here, and then yeet. And then here's the actual thing. Yeet. With a period instead of an exclamation mark. Alright, so that's Big Blue skip. That skips about 60% of the second lap. It's ridiculous. I love it. I hope you enjoyed looking at it. Anyways, it is bonus tracks being super skip heavy. It is Big Blue. There's one more skip. Here it is. Okay, anyways, had to do that, had to surprise you. Anyways, and now... Okay, perfect. That was a really good Big Blue, actually. Like, no memes, very, very good. Okay, nice. Ooh, so here's Music Park. I'm pretty sure Donkey Kong Jungle was the first track of this one. Like, that might have been a previous attempt, but this track has super bounces, so I'm going to be charging a drift, and then releasing the drift, and then immediately tricking on a boost pad, and those two things are going to compound together and push me in the correct direction. Like that. Except I didn't actually get the full mini turbo I was looking for, but that's okay, because there's one more super bounce here, and I'll get it here. Perfect, and that's one where you also do like a little leapfrog over a hill at the end, which is also very fun. Doing two super mini turbos here is actually a little bit faster than doing an ultra mini turbo, which is what I did earlier. I didn't actually explain, there's 3 tiers of drifts in this game. It's a difference between the Wii U version and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but I feel like most people just play Deluxe because the Switch sold so much better. Anyways, 3 tiers of drifts, regular mini turbos, blue, super mini turbos, orange, ultra mini turbos, pink. The higher your mini turbo stat, the faster they charge up. The higher your mini turbo stat, the stronger the boost it is. The higher your mini turbo stat, the longer the boost lasts. It is, it's ridiculous, and that's why mini turbos are the most important. That's why mini turbos are the most important stat in this game versus in Wii U top speed. Anyways, that was very good. That was a very good music park. Very happy with that. I kind of yelled a little bit. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, here we go. Here we have Wildwoods. This is my favorite track in the game. This is my favorite soundtrack. This is my favorite music piece in the game as well. This song is in 5/4. It's beautiful. The world building put on display in this track is just lovely, and it has one of the best skips that saves the least amount of time. If you perform the skip optimally, you'll save a little bit over 1/10 of a second each lap. However, if you don't go for the skip and instead do like a different strat entirely, it does. I mean, it's basically the same amount of speed. It's basically the same amount of time. It's a very fun skip though. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Anyways, that skip that I just did at the end of the lap is the thing. It's very, very difficult, and it's one of my favorite things in the game. Just that skip feels so good to pull off. And then it feels so bad to just fall off randomly from a drift afterwards, but it's fine. Okay, that one wasn't too bad. I did hit the grass a little bit, which did slow me down, but whatever. Trying to be chill with it. Okay. That little barrel cut is also kind of scary every time. I know it's kind of scary every time. I don't comment on it because I'm completely desensitized to it at this point. I've been playing this game for what, like 5.5, 6 years now, because I did play it in Mario Kart 8 I did play Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U before. And I ran 150cc with items, and then when the Switch version came out, I switched to 200cc without items, and I've been doing so much better. Oh my gosh, I love not having randomness, like messing up my runs all over. It's so lovely. Okay, so here's Twisted Mansion. This track has a very, very small global cycle. These hills, these roads are a thing. That's about it. And then also like there's some statues at the very end of the track as well. But they're pretty small things. They're pretty minor. This track is fairly standard. We're going from this is actually okay. Here's one thing. There's one kind of hard to explain thing on this track that is probably best explained on this track. This game has momentum, sort of, sometimes. Switching from the road to off-road sometimes just destroys your momentum, and it doesn't really make sense why, because like sometimes it doesn't. But this is a really good moment where momentum matters, going from a glider to the road. Like the way that you land there is so crucial to going quickly, and it's really, really hard to explain what you have to do. You just have to make it look smooth, but then it actually ends up being that smooth is the fastest. And that also comes into play in Bone Dry Dunes as well, which I think I also already did, unless that was a previous attempt. I'm not supposed to go on the left path, I kind of wasn't paying attention, whoops. That's not a huge deal. Ooh, that landing there is not fun though. Okay, and that's Twisted Mansion. Yes, smooth. I'm glad that you get it, Retaliate. Anyways, I want to say we're a bit over a third of the way done now. Oh, well over a third of the way done now. Okay. Okay, so Donut Plains 3 is a kind of... I don't know how to really describe this track other than it's surprisingly difficult. I need to focus on it a lot to not mess up. These little hills are super frustrating. Transitioning between water and ground right here is really tough. The Monties are really tough. You lose all of your traction on this wet area. The moles can just do that. That's fun. Yeah, this track is pretty difficult, considering that it's the second track of the second cup of retro tracks with Banana Cup. Okay, yeah. This track is yeah. That's my answer. Okay, now we continue onwards and we have Water Park. This is the second track of Mushroom Cup. Fun fact about this track, these stairs are in fact individual stairs, just with a little bit of an angle. They aren't just like straight 90-degree angles going up and down. Those, because they're real stairs, sometimes you can just bounce off of them in the worst possible way. Like I did this time, and hopefully I won't in laps 2 and 3, because bouncing off of the stairs in a particular way is the strat. You just don't want to bounce off of them in a frustrating way. You want to bounce off of them like that. That was the strat, so I did it correctly. It's a lot of the time going smooth, and I like saying smooth with a V instead of a TH because it's just silly. A lot of the time it's just good. It ends up being the fastest way to do it. Just making it look good ends up being the fastest. Like, go a little bit wider so that you don't have to brake as much on the turns. Going tighter isn't necessarily always the fastest because of the trajectory for where you exit your drift. So like, as an example, I'm releasing that drift way before I'm done with the turn, because the turn ends and I need to change from the inside to the outside. So I want to make that happen in the middle of the turn, like towards the end of it. Little things like that are all over the place in this game. It's all about little tiny micro optimizations. Alright, here's Sunshine Airport. This is, oh, I burnt out. Whoops. I never actually said you're supposed to press A when the light turns green for Lakitu. Although for a lot of people, input delay on their TVs, it might be a little bit different, so just test it yourself if you're playing at home. This track is fairly standard, there's not too much going on here, and it's another great track for donations. Yeah, it's another great track for donations. What's up, chat? How is everybody in chat? Donate to me right now. I don't have alerts on. I don't know, do y'all think I'm doing a good job? I feel like I'm doing pretty okay. I'm getting a little bit rambly, tangent-y sometimes, but whatever. It's not bad, right? Super easy track. Just finishing it up right now. It's another one where I get a low glider instead of a trick. Get this little hill cut, and that's the end of it. Perfect. Oh my gosh, now I actually don't have my alerts up whatsoever, so if people... I'm not gonna see any donations until the run is over. If people actually did give me money, which would be bonkers right now. Okay, so Baby Park is a pretty simple track, obviously. Motion sickness warning, I forgot to give at the beginning of it. You can just drive over these hills. If you are drifting at a good speed, and Roy and having this mini turbo, it's very good. So yeah, I ended up going just over the grass a lot, and I ended up messing up there. Sometimes you can continue having more drift, like you can keep your drift on the off-road, and that's kind of nice. Okay. Continuing on, we're nearing the halfway point. Here's Hyrule Circuit. Oh, this is the halfway point. We've had a lot of faster tracks, judging from the time. Hyrule Circuit's a pretty simple track that has one very tough skip at the very, very end. This is a tough skip for a number of different reasons. But one big reason why the skip is difficult is because there's so much stuff going on beforehand, and you're going so fast that you really have to do a bunch of braking and just kind of go with your gut. Like, there's no real technique to give other than play it a lot and practice it and feel it out. You'll have to do a lot of braking beforehand, and you'll have to jump. And that's that. It's a pretty difficult strat, and I'm fairly good at it. It's something that I practiced a lot because it's a really fun skip as well. This is a fun track to play. Ooh, here's a fun fact. When we started recording time trial leaderboards for time trials done without mushrooms, for a little while, I had the record, or the best known time without mushrooms for Hyrule Circuit. It's my only individual track record, and it happened at the very beginning of tracking it, so I never really had it, but I did on the leaderboards for a tiny amount of time. So that was cool. Here we have Excitebike Arena. This track is the most random track in the run. These hills are different every time in Versus Race. The way that it works, I actually plan to be producing a YouTube video for it. I have no idea if it'll be out before Frame Fatales or not. But these 5 like little modules of hills. Hello, I'm recording a submission video for Frost Fatales. Sorry. Oh, it's all good. I just wanted to let you know. But I love you. That was my partner Zeke. They just got home from work. This one with the little ramp and the patch of grass. This one with this tiered hill and the little ramp afterwards. Those are 2 different modules. This one with 5 ramps is one, and then this one with a right, left, right pattern, and then this one with a small ramp, and then one with an extended platform. So those 5 modules, nothing, 5, tiered, right, left, right, extended plat. Those 5 can show up in any order. 2 on the first side of the track and then 3 on the other side of the track. There's 2 different variations of coins for 4 of them, and then the one with nothing, the one with no actual hills has no coin differences. And then in addition to that, the mud patches are in random spots every time as well. There's a whole lot of randomness on the track, so it's a very reactive track. And I just explained what will probably be a 20-minute YouTube video in less than 2. So maybe it'll be less than 20 minutes, huh? Anyways, here's Snes Rainbow Road. I just burnt out, that's okay. This, actually it's really not okay, this is a track with global cycles. I really shouldn't have burnt out. Dang, that's unfortunate. This track has some very, very simple strategies, assuming that you can maintain the correct cycle, which I didn't, but that's alright. I did kind of burn out, so that's whatever. But the general strategy for this track is that you want to do a super mini turbo, and then you want to do 3 ultra mini turbos. This one's very difficult. That's the hardest ultra. And then another super mini turbo at the end. So S, U, 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 S. Just a really, really long sus. Alright, and here we go. Finishing up the track. Okay. Now we got another... How many more tracks to go? 22? 22 more tracks to go. Suwus? Oh no. Okay, so here's Piranha Plant Slide of Lightning Cup. This track is pretty tough. It has some kind of cool stuff going on and some kind of frustrating stuff going on as well. It starts with a really interesting drift right there. I don't really know how I actually stay glued to the track. It just works. Hopping over this is pretty tough, but sometimes you just get it like that. You're supposed to bounce off of that and trick off of it, but you can actually do a hop to start a drift perfectly over it. And that's what I just did there, and that's what I'm hopefully going to do all 3 laps. And that's something that kind of happens a lot with this run, as you've no doubt seen already, and as will no doubt be apparent for the rest of the run as well. It's kind of the same thing all 3 laps, but sometimes lap 1 is a little bit more difficult because we have to build coins. Right? Okay, I didn't get it there because I started the drift earlier. That's alright. Here's a fun fact. This big chamber is shaped like a big piranha. Not piranha. Not piranha pipe. I think it's just called a warp pipe. Oops. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Sometimes you just run into a wall. It's very fun. Oh, here's a fun fact. Those little hanging lights all have hitboxes, and you can bounce off of them if you fly up into the air a little bit. It's really silly. that little spot right there, you may have noticed that I kind of was on the grass and I kind of kept my drift. That's something that you can kind of do a lot of the time, but sometimes you can't, and I really don't know why. And I'm sorry that I don't know a good explanation for why sometimes the off-road eats your drift and sometimes the off-road doesn't eat your drift. But that's just how Mario Kart works, and we're gonna have to get through that together. So here's Mute City, the other F-Zero track. Shoutouts to Fast RMX, the spiritual successor to F-Zero. This track is pretty simple. It has one very specific skip that I helped popularize called Touchless, and here it is. So I just didn't touch those ramps, and that's why it's called Touchless. This is something that took me literally days to figure out how to do consistently. And it turns out it has an extremely simple explanation for how to do it consistently. In order to make that jump so that you don't hit the ramp at all and you just fly over it with a little bit faster speed than a trick, overall saving time, you just have to be a little bit farther over to the right when you hop. Like, just make sure that you're over to the right on the ramp and you're good. I kind of wasn't looking, so I kind of like flew a bunch in the air, but just when you jump, make sure you're pretty far over to the right, and that's good, and you'll be fine. Don't angle yourself towards the road. Angle yourself to the right, and you'll be good. It's pretty tough though. You have to chain a UMT into an MT into another MT, release it, and jump. It's a lot. What I just did right there was a lot, but I'm gonna take a recording of it because that's legitimately one of the best touchlesses I've ever done. I love how you can do that. Isn't the Switch amazing? Okay, anyways. Here we have Tick-Tock Clock. This is one of my favorite tracks to play. It's very it's got some really fun skips. It's a global cycle track, as you could no doubt guess, because it's clocks. And there are some really silly things. So, first things first, we're kind of going to be ignoring some of these ramps, but we're kind of going to be taking advantage of some of these ramps too. Here's the first skip, made popular by... Oh shit, okay, well... I don't want to swear! That's the second time, I'm so sorry. Oh man. Okay, the glider is actually slower in that one. Okay, so the cycles are a little bit messed up now, but that's alright. I still managed to get that one in lap 2. It's pretty forgiving. It kind of gets you back on track a little bit. I don't like that I can get this one. That's generally not great. So that was 3 tricks into a slide drift, which is pretty fun. No, and Lakitu, why'd you have to put me all the way over that way and not like farther up, like you do most of the time when I mess up that skip? Okay, anyways, I'm fine. I'm not bitter. I'm sorry about the swear. Really, I am. I'll do better. Okay, here we have Cheap Cheap Beach. I'd also like to mention, I'm not going to be doing this run solo. I will have commentary. I'll have some people providing commentary as well, provided that it's okay for... Well, actually, I don't think... Well, guys aren't allowed in the server, so that might actually be a problem. I might be doing the run on my own. Whoops. Crap. I was going to say that it was going to be a little bit less stressful on me to continue rambling forever, because I'll have other people able to provide commentary. I'm realizing now that if I do have other people providing commentary, it'll probably be maybe a couple of my friends who don't necessarily run the game, which would still be good, but there aren't very many. There aren't very many, actually, any women running Mario Kart besides me at the moment. So yeah, I'll have to figure that one out. Give me a little bit on that. I mean, I can do the run solo, clearly. I'm very capable of rambling forever. This is a fairly simple track. It's a good one for donations to be read. Alright. Here we have Mount Wario. Or Mario. Mount Wario. Mario. This is another one of those just one path tracks. This is a track that has been featured in several video essays talking about sound design, because there's a bunch of different musical sections of the track that all flow into each other, and they're all gonna get just a little bit pushed around because of the speedrun, because we're going so quickly. But for the most part, it's pretty good. For the most part, it holds together. This is a pretty simple track. There's not too much to talk about on it. One thing to mention, actually, is that this is another one of those skips where you just kind of go for it, and this is faster than taking the track normally. Oh, one other thing that... Oh, okay, well, I was going to say, the trees are in the same spot every time, so I'm usually pretty good at avoiding them. Unfortunately, I did not actually succeed this time, but that's okay. This slalom section is really, really frustrating because a lot of these tracks were not designed for 200cc in mind. 200cc was DLC in the Wii U version. Like, this game was just going to be made with 50, 100, and 150, and then 200cc was added later. So because of that, a lot of these tracks just are a little bit busted. Oops, I'm not splitting. I think there are several he theys. I don't know if there are many. I don't know if there are any they thems. I legitimately don't know though. There aren't very many folks that I talk to in this. I mean, there aren't very many people running the game at a pretty high level at the moment. That's not a big deal though. Here's Cheese Land. It's got some really difficult skips. If you're just starting to run this game casually, if you're starting to run the game competitively even as well, I mean, this is gonna be the most difficult track for you for a very long time. Just in general, it was for me, and from what I know from many people anecdotally, it has been the most difficult track for new players. Just because some of these skips, like getting them to actually all connect into each other and making it smooth it's difficult. It's a difficult thing on this track in particular, because this is not what... Okay, Cheese Land is a retro track, sort of. It's a bonus track. It was DLC. It's in Crossing Cup. It's in the second DLC pack. But it's a Game Boy game. It's a Game Boy track, sorry, from Mario Kart Super Circuit. And I gotta say, the Mario Kart 8 team did a great job with making this track into an HD version, because it is nothing like the actual track. Like the elevation changes on display here, right? That was not a thing on Super Circuit, basically. Super Circuit and Super Mario Kart are kind of similar for that reason. So yeah. Moving on, here we have Royal Raceway. This is another great track for donations to be read, as there's very little to talk about. The very famous skip from Mario Kart 64 is just not a thing here at all. So that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. One thing that did stick around from the N64 though, something that I love talking about because it's just a really, really fun thing that I really like. Royal Raceway in Mario Kart 64 the original version, the sky, like the skybox, was basically like just flat pink. Maybe there were some clouds, I don't actually remember if there were clouds or not, but it was basically just a pink sky. Royal Raceway had a pink sky, and the sky is pink in this one too, and it's HD, and I love how they did it. I don't know, it works really well for me, and it's something that I love calling attention to. Just because it's a really small detail that I really appreciate. They made this very clearly, like, it's still a green grass and it's still blue sky, but it's pink sky, and it's really cool. I don't know. Fun fact number, I don't know how many fun facts I've said at this point, but this one's just about me and not about Mario Kart. My old username was another castle, with like underscores, and my profile picture for the longest time was just a picture of the castle from Mario Kart 64 with the pink sky in the background. That was like my first profile picture for my account. Yeah, another fun little piece of lore. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by Discord in the middle of a run. My bad. Not quite owl. It was with an A instead of, it was spelled normally. So that's a little shortcut there. I didn't really talk about it. I'm going to be doing that in laps 2 and 3 as well. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted. Here we go. We're in Mario Circuit. There are many, many, many Mario circuits in Mario Kart. This is the new one for Mario Kart 8. It takes place on a Mobius strip, so that's a fun thing. If you are trying to figure out what the map is doing, good luck. The important thing to know is that we're driving on a Mobius strip, and that's kind of cool, I think. Excuse me. The piranha plants in those pipes are on a global cycle. Okay, let me do this little skip that I didn't really do in lap 1. Okay, yeah, that was pretty good. It's a fun little skip. Okay, and that is Mario Circuit. It was okay. Okay, what do we have next? We're over an hour into the run now. Ribbon Road. This is my nemesis. This track has, in my opinion, the hardest skip in the game. The lap 1 double shortcut ramp skip. And yes, that is the full name. The lap 1 double shortcut ramp skip. Okay, so this blue ribbon, right? It's on a global cycle, and it does the same little hill motion over and over again. And you can hit the hill at just the right spot if you go just fast enough where you can get a trick off of that hill and then skip the first ramp of the second shortcut. It's bonkers. It's fantastic. It's so difficult, and it's something that is very, very easy to do in future laps because sometimes the hill is just in a better spot. Like sometimes you can just do that, but I mean you can do it from a better angle in a better spot. Imagine I did that but better. Well, you won't have to imagine because I'll get it in lap 3. I'm getting a little bit rambly, too much energy. I need to maybe take a second and breathe for another track after this one, regardless of if it's good for donations or not. I think I've been talking just a bit too fast, a bit too much, so I need to check myself. Sorry. But this was a good Ribbon Road, aside from a few minor mistakes, trying to explain stuff. This track is the same all 3 laps, no matter what. There are two right turns, and one of them is kind of just a straight line. See if you can find them. I'm going to just kind of chill and breathe and collect myself for a sec, because, yeah. Ooh, that was really good. That was a good little skip. Wario Stadium is a track that I like to call infinitely optimizable. It's just not, it's not actually true, but it feels true. It feels like there's always more to improve on this track, and no matter how good I do, I always find myself able to, every once in a while, get a gold split by over half a second, and it's just ridiculous. This track can, it's infinitely improvable. It feels like it's really cool. I don't know, there's only a few tracks like it in the game. I've been playing this game for 5 or 6 years now. I don't actually know exactly how long it's been, but I have a lot of respect for it, in case you couldn't tell. Okay. So here we go, Toad Harbor. This is the mandatory city streets without cars level of new Mario Kart games. We had one in, I think, the last 5 now. I don't remember the names of all of them though. These tram cars are technically still cars, I suppose, but yeah. This is a pretty simple track that I'm making small mistakes on all over the place. Okay, yeah, woo. Alright, no, it's fine. Everything's chill. That little skip is pretty fun. It's kind of difficult to do in 200cc. It's a lot easier in 150. Let me talk about some differences between 150cc and 200cc for a second, since I have your attention for another 20 minutes or so. That was real unfortunate, game. Come on. So, the way that I love to describe it is that 150cc is precise and 200cc is reactive, like precision versus reaction. But that's not entirely true. I like describing it like that because it feels very elegant. You're playing the same tracks with the same dimensions, like the same distance between every point. It's just that your car can't go as fast. And so because of that, you have to be more precise with your movement so that you can be as optimal as possible. Whereas with 200cc, you're going a lot faster, and you have to kind of react to things happening because you don't have the ability to play as precisely. And it's a very elegant description, but 200cc is still extremely precise, so I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot by saying that. Ultimately, I think the biggest differences come down to how the skips are performed, though. 150cc, the skips are really the super precise things, right? And 150cc is all about making sure that you are in like just the right spot, and then making just the right jumps at just the right times so that you can barely make it over some hills, because getting these shortcuts without items is really, really tough. But then on 200cc, you have something completely different, where you're going so quickly. Again, like 200cc is a huge step up. It's way more from 150 than 150 is from 100. And like, you have to chain things together so much more in 200cc, and you have to go into these like flow states where you're going drift into drift into drift into a hop to get over something, where you you are building momentum over multiple drifts in a really cool way that is just, it just feels different than 150cc. And it's one of the reasons why I've been attracted to 200cc for so long. Just like, the flow state of it is very good, and I'm like not really interested in 150cc for those reasons, because while I like the idea of making these skips very precise, I don't want to leave these flow states. We're deep into the run. I get to talk about things in a more heady way. Allow me to. Let me have this one. I'm trying to have a good time with it, in case it wasn't clear. Ooh, here's the most controversial Rainbow Road in the game. A lot of people really don't like this Rainbow Road because it's less Rainbow Road and more Rainbow Racetrack. Like, it feels much more mechanical, and there are sections of the track that aren't Rainbow. But then it's like they kind of forget that Mario Kart 7 for 3DS had a bunch of sections of its Rainbow Road where you weren't on a Rainbow Road either, but it didn't receive the same sorts of criticisms. This track is completely serviceable. It is this track works as a Rainbow Road. It is very difficult. It has some incredibly sharp turns. It has, like, it is a test of the stuff in the game, like the new stuff added, like the anti-grav stuff. There's anti-grav sections of the track that have like boost pads, and playing against computers, like hitting computers during this turn is super scary. And then like all of the following stuff, like this whole section without railings, which I kind of just jump over. This is a very good Rainbow Road. I'm gonna just be talking about the game as a game and less as a speedrun for a little bit, because I like this game a lot. I never put it near the top of my top games lists, but it's finding itself more and more in there, just somewhere. One mechanic I never really talked about was charging drifts in midair. If you can just drift off of a road and like go in the air, and you'll still be charging up your drift. And it's a good time to like charge it at its fastest possible rate by holding full to the right or full to the left or something. And it's useful in a lot of different tracks where you can kind of build an SMT in a straight line, and that's really cool. Here we have Grumble Volcano. This is a track with some global timers as far as when the parts of the track will fall into the lava. It's a pretty fun track. It's a pretty iconic track from Mario Kart Wii. It has a very well-known ultra shortcut. Ooh, that was interesting. There are no ultra shortcuts in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or Mario Kart 8. The way that the checkpoint system works in this game is a fair bit different. For one thing, you have to kind of imagine the entire track is encased in a giant tube, and Lakitu says no whenever you exit the tube. And so getting large shortcuts is extremely difficult because there's a ton of, well, basically kill planes, but they're Lakitu planes, all over outside of the track. So that's the first problem, but then also the way that the checkpoints load, it just doesn't. You need to continue going from the next one to the next one to the next one. Like, it only... Yeah. I don't know the exact rules of how the checkpoint system works in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but I know that the sort of things that allow ultra shortcuts to be possible are no longer possible in this game, which is fine. Honestly, it's genuinely fine. And now we're going to get back into a little bit more deep, philosophical, heady talk about Mario Kart. So just let me have this one. This game is not glitch heavy. At all. there's very, very little in the way of stuff that isn't extremely clear. Like you watch it and you can kind of tell what's going on if you play the game and you know what everything looks like, right? There's nothing hiding in this run, and that's kind of cool. I'm not trying to speak ill of runs with glitches and runs with a lot of exploits like that, but I do really like this game as just kart physics, right? Let's just take a kart racing game and push it to its limits, right? No items. Let's just take the physics of the game. You have accelerate, you have drift, you have brake, you have a very good, well-designed track and a well-designed system for drifting, and well-balanced things in general, and just go as fast as you frickin' can. It's awesome. And like the sorts of things that you have to do to get cool shortcuts in Mario Kart 64, and the ways that you manipulate items in some of the older games, is like, it's really cool, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. And this is what I'm looking for. Just pure driving, but not actual cars. This is very much a video game still, right? I don't think that I would get the same sort of thing from like a Need for Speed all race tracks, if there's tracks in Need for Speed. I don't actually know how Need for Speed works. I've only played the one that was like an open world. Are they all open worlds? Oh man. Anyways, I feel like the fact that it's a kart game helps. and it's pretty glitchless, it's pretty technique light, there's stuff to explain and there's a lot of depth there, but it's mostly just a very high skill ceiling. That's really cool. I'm getting a lot of burnouts, which is unfortunate. Oh, here's Animal Crossing. This track has 4 different seasons, and in a normal versus race we would be able to manipulate which season we get. Fall is the second fastest, and is generally the one that most runners will use. And it's the one that we got here, so we got pretty lucky. The fastest one is actually summer, because there's a ramp on the beach that you can get an extra trick off of that makes you go a little bit faster. The third one is spring, and spring is the first one where you're actually just like getting slowed down, because the ramps in the tree section that I just went through kind of stink. And then winter is the slowest because there's ice and it slows you down because traction gets drastically reduced. So yeah, in order it's summer, then fall, then spring, then winter is the worst one. And we got the second best, and we got the easiest one as well, probably, because there are no ramps in the fall one. So that's really good. Also, one thing I want to note, a lot of people say, oh, why did they only change the item indicator for the bells? Well, for one thing, they also changed the sound effect, and also the coins don't have the little line through them like a Mario coin, they have a little star through them, like an individual, like a 100 bell, when it's just like an icon in Animal Crossing. Anyways, yeah, also this game has Animal Crossing designs from New Leaf, not New Horizons. So unfortunately, some of those characters aren't gonna ever show up, which is sad. But wouldn't that be cool, DLC, Nintendo? Just a nice little free update, actually. Let me see some new characters on the Animal Crossing map, just for no reason. That would be the perfect little thing to add to Mario Kart that would frustrate people because it's not Mario Kart 9 and it's not new gameplay anything. It's just like this nice light little thing that they would totally just randomly do sometimes, because that's just Nintendo's MO. I love this. I love thinking about this possibility. Anyways, Sherbet Land is a track from the GameCube, has a really fun earworm of a song playing in the background. This is a track where drifting is super important. It's fairly boring and a good time for donations as well. Haven't been really thinking about when donations will be read a lot, but just kind of eliminate half of my rambling by reading more donations, and it would probably be a pretty darn good run for the marathon if I do say so myself. Anyways, I've got like, I think 5 more tracks after this one. Probably 5 more tracks after this one, maybe 6. I don't actually 100% know. But now since we are nearing the end of it, I get to try to rack my brain and try to figure out what remaining tracks there are. So, we haven't gotten Mario Kart Stadium yet. I'm like 99% sure. I'm pretty sure we also haven't gotten Sweet Sweet Canyon yet. So that's 2. Mario Circuit, yes. Toad Harbor, yes. Twisted Mansion, yes. Shy Guy Falls, yes. There's Mario Kart Stadium, just like I said. Rooster, yeah, seriously, that would be so good. Yeah. Mario Kart Stadium. So yeah, still Mario Kart Stadium, which I'm doing now. Sweet Sweet Canyon is one that I'm pretty sure I haven't done yet. Done everything in Flower Cup. I don't think I've had Dolphin Shoals yet, and that's in Star Cup. I've had everything in Special Cup. I've had everything in Shell Cup. Why did I jump there? What? Okay. Banana Cup. I've done everything in Banana Cup. I've done everything in Leaf Cup too. Yeah. Yeah, because I just got Yoshi Valley. I haven't done Retro. I haven't done N64 Rainbow Road yet. So I've got N64 Rainbow Road. I've got Sweet Sweet Canyon. What was the other one that I said? I said another one. I know I did. Dolphin Shoals. And then there's something in bonus tracks. Something in bonus tracks. One sec, give me a sec. Super Bell Subway. Okay, so there we go. Sweet Sweet Canyon. 6, 7, and 8 are gonna be Dolphin Shoals, Super Bell Subway, and the other one that I already forgot. Dolphin Shoals, Super Bell Subway, and a retro track. 64 Rainbow Road, yeah. Okay, yep. Sweet. I think I actually did get it. Wow, go me. Okay, so here we have Sweet Sweet Canyon. This is a pretty simple, fun track. Not too much to talk about. This is another one where actually it's a glider cannon. The cannons you kind of just want to drive off of a lot of, and sometimes you'll hop as well. That drift was really bad. We're just going to pretend that was better than it was, which it wasn't, but that's okay. Okay, sure. Okay, N64 Rainbow Road is a pretty short track. Super Bell Subway is a little longer, I want to say. But Dolphin Shoals isn't too bad. Okay. So hopefully this will be a 1:27XX as far as the finish time. I've got a pretty good feeling that I'm in that range. Alright, yeah, N64 Rainbow Road here. This is a really short track because it's a very long track, but you only do 1 lap. It's just cut into 3 sections because Nintendo were cowards. They were smart, but they were cowards. They made the very smart and very cowardly decision to not make a track that was 7 minutes long, 8 minutes long casually in this day and age. Totally fine on the N64, but on the Switch, I mean, it would be a little tough. It would be a little bit tougher. I mean, I would have preferred it, which is why I call them cowards. I don't know, I shouldn't call them cowards, that's mean. They're not cowards. It's all in jest. I'm trying to be funny. It was a smart decision. I'm just silly. Okay. And now we got 2 more tracks. Dolphin Shoals or Super Bell Subway. Which one will it be? Or am I completely wrong and it's not Dolphin Shoals? I guess we'll find out later. I guess we'll find out next time. Next track. I just don't want to be too mean in my submission video. You know, I've already accidentally swore twice. That's not a great look. And I really am sorry about that, and I will be more on it. I'm sorry. Anyways, Super Bell Subway is pretty simple. There are 2 different patterns, depending on where the tram cars are. They're either going with you or against you, and in this case, they were going against me. The red car going in that direction is way slower. The blue car going in that direction is way faster, but it wasn't, and that's just how it be. And sometimes you just get hit, because like Toad's Turnpike, Super Bell Subway cars just have ridiculous hitboxes. Very sad. Okay. Alright, and there we go. Get around the corner there. Perfect. And that is all 3 laps. I did get hit the one time, which kind of stunk, and it was the bad RNG, but whatever. Not a huge deal. Alright, so that's the end of that. That's 47 tracks done. If I'm right, Dolphin Shoals is the last one. Hey, let's go. Proud of me for remembering. This track has a great soundtrack too. Great sax solo to end it on. I'm gonna make sure that I get this correct if I get the run submitted. But I do want to highlight that a large chunk of the music in this game was written by a Japanese jazz fusion band. 2 of the members of that band were crucial to the organization of the Mario Kart band, which is the group of 20-something people that played all of the music for this game. And I want to say that jazz fusion band's name is Ultimate or Universe or something like that. It starts with a U. I really think I'm going to make sure that I get that right if the run gets accepted, but I do want to shout them out because the soundtrack is baller. The soundtrack is so good. Alright, and that's the run. Time. 1:27:26, that's not bad at all. My personal best is a 1:26:22 done in normal order. So yeah, that was a great run. Just a little bit over a minute off my PB. Completely random order. Trying to give good commentary along the entire way. Yeah, that was very fun. Very, very good. Thanks to everybody in my chat for watching as I was recording this. Thanks to whoever's on the games list teams that are watching this video. If you actually watched the whole thing, that's super cool of you. Thanks. Yeah. I hope everybody who was watching enjoyed the commentary. I tried to have fun with it. I try to be kind of funny. I'm not quite joke a minute, but hopefully I made you laugh at least once. and hopefully you learned something too. So yeah, that's the run. That's Mario Kart. That's all of the tracks in Mario Kart. Random order. Again, for the submission, I'm going to be submitting 48 tracks just in general as a full run, with the goal as like the incentive for the run to be a bid war between regular order or random order. If that's not okay, I would like to just run the run random order, and then we could maybe do like a tire color bid war or like a character bid war, but I'd really rather play Roy if that's okay. Big reason why being that Roy plus blue roller tires plus Cloud Glider is trans rights, trans colors, like blue, pink, white, like here. Yeah, like that. Okay, anyways, yeah. Thanks so much for watching. I'm gonna stop the recording now.